All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's talk about this Iyanla Vazant and Ebony Williams. Would you date a bus driver? But before I go into that really quickly, Rebecca says, but sincerely, MOP, women spend more nowadays. Yes, that's the reality in a lot of marriages. Because majority of people are not Dangote, right? Even though they all want to claim like, oh, he's bringing everything to his providing, his protect. Like, shot. You're gonna call 911. She's paying almost half of the bill, if not more. What are we talking about? Majority of the time. Okay? Majority of the time. What are we talking about? I still think men needs to provide and protect emotionally. That's where your energy needs to go. Stop thinking money, gentlemen. Stop thinking because you're gonna call 911 too anyway. Okay? That's not what she needs you for. If she doesn't feel safe and secure around you, you're better off staying single because she can't respect you. If she can't respect you, she can't be in love with you. It's just all bad. Okay? Oh, it's a struggle. But yeah, let's get back to this Iyanla Van Zant. I'm going to play a little bit of it. Hopefully, they won't flag us. No, I think I don't need to play it. Good, good. I want to make sure that we keep our videos safe. So what we're talking about is this young lady that you're looking at on the screen right about now. Young lady, she's 39 years old. Her name is Eboni K. Williams. Eboni K. Williams. Blow this up a little bit. There you go. Straightening her car. So she had a question. She brought Iyanla Van Zant, the lady on the right. She brought her to the show. And she had a question for her, and this had to do with the masculine, the feminine energy, why women are more masculine than ever before. Yeah, so that was a conversation. But this conversation is around romantic relationships, emotions, okay? That's as far as where we're going to go, okay? Because I am not no scientist around this stuff, but I understand how human emotions work, and that's all I'm going to stick with, okay? Now, if you have more you can want to share with us, feel free to always share with me. I'm always open to learn too. But I'm just going to read this article so we can catch up to speed with what they're talking about. So, shout out to Zora.medium.com. Iyanla Van Zant and Eboni K. Williams are two women in the entertainment world who I admire. Van Zant is an inspirational speaker, author, lawyer, life coach, TV personality. Well, many of you probably already watch Iyanla Fix My Life, right? I remember seeing a book, blah, 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 but let me go straight to the quote. Anyway, so this is the quote of the question that Eboni K. Williams, who is a lawyer, but she's a TV host, this lady probably makes nothing less than $300,000 a year, $250,000 to $400,000 safely. She's on TV, she's known, she's famous. So Eboni K. Williams, this lady on the left, is asking Miss Iyanla, who is an elderly woman. She's about 70 or 71 years old. The young lady is 39. She said, how women need to position ourselves so that we can be in our divinity. So the divinity is a new thing. It's a trending thing that women are trying to engage with, which I applaud it. I applaud it. In fact, there's one channel I'll recommend for you ladies later on. If you remind me in the WhatsApp group, I will send it to you, that I think it's a good channel to watch to balance things out, because at the end of the day, I'm a man. I'm speaking from a man's perspective. And my goal here is that you still stay within the perspective of, I want you to be a woman. I don't want you to be a man. Okay? This is one thing I disagree with the title of Steve Harvey's book from back then. Think like a man, act like a woman. Like, Jesus, no, we need them to be women. Okay? But I'm probably, again, taking him out of context. You need to read the book to understand what he's talking about, as opposed to, let's just call him a simp because it's like, shut your ass up. Read the book first, So we can have our crowns right. Okay? So she's saying, so that we can be in our divinity, so we can have our crowns right. Now, a person that's speaking like this, they're speaking of a certain type of belief system. It's not yours to go there and say, crown, what is a crown? That's weird. We're all the same. Like, if you don't believe in what they believe in, why are you putting your mouth inside? This is weird behavior. Okay, so it's a certain language when they talk about the divinity thing, the feminine, the feminine thingy, right? They believe in certain principles, and what they're trying to achieve a certain level of essence. Okay, so if you don't know what that is, it's better to stay out of it. It's none of your business, right? So that's what they're talking about. They're talking about the divinity, feminine energy, divine feminine, right? I think that's a beautiful thing for a woman to want to learn, right? And she goes, how we can create and not build when some of us feel the men that are available to us, they're not positioned to protect nor provide. Now, when a woman says protect, provide, what do we do as men? We say, well, you need me to bring all the money to the table. Well, first of all, you're not bringing the money to the table. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. I know you expect her to help you shape it into words so you can understand and all that kind of stuff. But the truth is that you're not going to pay no more than 60% of the bills. Probably not. If you're an average person,
Stop the cap.
you won't. But let me continue. How we can create and not build when some of us feel the men that are available to us, they are not positioned to protect nor provide. Okay, so not protect nor provide. A woman will not say that if she feels like you're protecting and providing at an emotional level. If she feels safe and secure around you, that's the least of our worries. She's making money, so that's not a big deal. But I'm guessing that a lot of people in this generation are not willing to wait that long or be patient because I gotta be stoic and act like a man, right? That's not a man. That's not men, by the way. That's not the definition of a man. You need to be able to protect and guide. Sorry, not guide. Guard the emotional security and safety of the context. Okay? Once upon a time, 50 years ago, all you have to do is feed everybody and everybody feels safe, put a guard around. But today, clearly, it's a different world, soft life, right? But you're still needed to bring that protection and provision. You're still needed for that. It's just only at an emotional level. She needs to feel safe and secure around you, right? Why? What's in it for you? Well, she's not going to be able to answer you, but let me answer you. Again, women are incubators. Whatever you bring to them, okay? We're not talking about broken necks. Shout out to Ronnie. I'm talking about a normal woman, okay? I'm not talking about Amber Rose, okay? I don't know Amber Rose, but I know enough for what I see. But I'm talking about a normal person, right? What you bring to her, if she feels safe and secure, she can't wait to give you everything, to hand over everything. Okay? Now, if she's been through some trauma in the past, it might be a little bit more difficult, but that's to be expected. This is life. Welcome to the real world. Okay? Now, they're not positioned to protect and provide because of some of the statistics we just talked about. She's talking purely money and being able to go and kill a lion to eat tomorrow. We don't live in that world anymore, right? But everybody's still talking like we live in that world for some weird reason, okay? They're not earning the incomes, they're not having the resources, and some of them are not even showing up in the leadership. So here's what Miss Van Zandt said. I respect Miss Van Zandt a lot, Iyanla, okay? She said, would you date a bus driver? And then Miss Williams, Eboni K. Williams, responded, if he owns the bus, if he owns it, if he owns the bus, Iyanla. And Iyanla answered, she says, let me see here. Let me just see something real quick. I want to make sure that you guys are connected with me here. There you go. Perfect. She said, would you date a bus driver? Let me see here. Yeah, she said, would you date a bus driver? And she said, no, if he owns the bus, if he owns it, if he owns the bus, right? Now, a bus driver, granted, they can make good money depending on what city we're talking about. They can make good money, okay? But we're talking about a lady who probably makes $300,000 a year. class exists. The delusion is, at this point, it's becoming delusion of grandeur. It's narcissistic behavior. And I'm not diagnosing. That's one of the features of, I don't know, 4 or 9 to be called a disorder. It's just weird, okay? That's just where we are right now. You're expecting a person making $300,000. A typical person, it can happen. Doesn't mean it can't happen. But typically, that's not going to happen. Okay? Class is a real thing. And it's better that you marry somebody or get with somebody within whatever class we're talking about. It's just a lot easier, okay? Now, if you are attracted to people across the pond, across the race, that's fine. You should just be aware that that's going to come with some type of struggle, additional layer of struggles, okay? Because you're already dealing with another human being. So now think about the way they were raised, what they've always known, things you might be sensitive to, right? That they're not sensitive to. They just don't know your word like that. They're just attracted to the fantasy of being with you. They're attracted, just attraction, pure attraction, right? So if you cut across all the way from the 40 grand per year and you go date somebody $300,000 above your income, especially the woman in our social construct, equality will tell you that shouldn't be an issue, right? But you're right. You're right. Emotions not your mate. Right? No, see, that's wrong. Iyanla answers. That's wrong. That's a problem. That's a problem. Because the standards and criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in the society. The standards and criteria are off. Right? But yet it's a real thing. She's 39, not married. That's a real thing. That's a real reason, right? You can turn around and blame them for their standard being off, right? But the reality is that happened for a reason. And it's always been that way. It's nothing new. It's just a little bit more pronounced. Why? Because women have options. Now, I don't know if these options will hurt them a couple of decades from now, but that's just the reality of what it is, right? But let me continue. She said, I would date a bus driver. She's 71 years old. Admittedly, in that same video, she said she was that. She said she admitted, sorry about that. She admitted that she was like that. She's an alpha female as well. And she was coconut head too. She admitted. Now she's 71 and she's telling a 39 years old who is still going through the journey. Is she wrong? No, she's not wrong. I think we need her to keep saying it, right? I think we need her to keep saying it, but I think it's unrealistic to expect anybody around the age range of 39, 35, 34 to suddenly submit to, let me settle for any idea of less. I think it's unrealistic. I think it's going to be casualties. It is what it is, okay? If you want to call it casualties, some of them say, well, no, I'm happy with being by myself. What are you going to say? If somebody says, I'm happy being by myself, who are you to argue with the person? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. She said, I would date a bus driver. You're 71. And then she will bring prenup and stuff like that. And she'll make sure, because she's rich. She's a rich woman, right? She will bring prenup, make sure everything is good, and she can date. Of course she can date it. You won't date a guy from a village in Hausa land. We've seen them on TV, right? Just to have some companion, because at 71, it's not that deep. But it makes sense to me. But that's why you're 71 and the other person is 39. So they still have some hope somewhere that some rich guy, 55, will fall in love with them. Well, they do. That's the reality. I just want us to acknowledge the reality first before we prescribe anything else. Okay? If you loved driving the bus, if you was a man of integrity, remember that good man conversation. Being a good man, is it enough? It's supposed to be enough. Fantasy. It should be enough. Fantasy. Is it enough? No. Reality is just not enough. That's the bare minimum. Being a good person. That's bare minimum. Okay? Now, I'm not giving you ladies license to just talk down anybody. That's not what I'm doing. Okay? That's not what I'm doing. But that's the reality of how a lot of people are thinking. If we're going to adjust, we need to first of all acknowledge it. And I believe that class is a real thing. It's always been real. It's just more pronounced right now. Okay? People think they can become entrepreneur. They think they're already making $1 million before they made $1 million because they subscribed to your course yesterday. Is it delusional? Delusional? Yes. Right? But I'm not going to go there and slow down and, rain on their parade. Right? That's not helpful. Now, if they ask and they realize that, hey, something is off, like this young lady was doing, she was asking a question, which is a beautiful place. There's a lot of them that wouldn't even ask questions because they get triggered when married people are talking. And she's asking questions from an elderly person, something that we rarely see these days. The best thing I can do is good. It's good that she's in that space of mind, that she's asking those questions. I think that's a plus. That's applaudable already. But that's not what's going on the internet today. She was being dragged because she didn't want to be with the bus driver. She said, Iyanla said, I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus driver. Right? Let me see here. This isn't a car. What is this? I don't know what that word is. Anyway, here's another quote here. In almost half of opposite-sex marriages in the US, women are now earning the same as their husbands. These are the reality. Or out-earning them by an average of $53,000. So at this point, we're supposed to be like, you know what? Reality starts settling. Okay? Some of these men are good. Listen, I'm here for it. If you can pass that message, if you're working, sure. Okay? But I just think we need to acknowledge the reality first. That's a reason why it ended up where it ended up in the first place. Let me see here. What's going on? L Selector, good to see you. But what if he's classy and not kind? No, I didn't say anything about classy. Class. God forbid. Classy B2. I don't know her. I don't know if she's classy. I'm talking about class. Class. Like rich people, the rich and the poor, the have and the have-nots. Okay? And everything in between. That's what I was talking about. It's called Children with Breasts, living in fantasy world. Don't take anything what the modern day female high percentage and living in fantasy world. Yeah, I would say they're all living in fantasy, including the men. The men are living in fantasy world, even worse, because we're the men. Okay, but yeah, everybody's living in fantasy world. I think women have always fantasized, but they have always said to the two when they get there and they're like, wait, there's value here that I didn't realize. If it feels right, they settle. Not settle for less, settle because they see a different type of value. I think women have always done that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay? I think overreacting to the fact that women fantasize that she's going to meet $1 million man tomorrow because she makes $300,000, it's not that deep for me. I think men buying into that and thinking that's a real thing and then shaming them all over the place, I think that's a bigger problem, personally. Yeah. A bus driver can be family oriented and kind. Yes, that's what Iyanla was saying. But it's easy to say that when you're a woman of a certain age. When you're younger and you think I think you just wait around, and especially if you're being dragged by the same men and expect you to sleep with them, it's not gonna work. Most women would rather just lie alone with the dog than to be with somebody that's going to use their mouth to drag them. Okay? That's just the reality. If it doesn't feel right, they'll rather be alone. That's the reality. Okay? I'm not making that up. That's the reality of what's going on that we don't want to acknowledge. Okay? If a woman will say I do because she's literally fantasizing with being with you forever. But if 3 years down the line, okay, it doesn't feel right, she's gonna start Googling the options available to her. She's gonna go talk to a divorce lawyer. Okay? Now, a man will fantasize in the other direction. That, hey, we're married, we're stuck together forever, until somebody pulls the plug from under him. Then he's like all surprised, like, what happened? I thought we were a family. Why would you do this to me? Like, I know. That's why we're different. That's why I'm bringing the awareness. Hey, brother Patrick, good to see you, sir. If you marry taxi driver, I don't care. That is. If you marry taxi driver, I don't. Oh my God, you just brought memories, sir. The women don't really care. Okay, they don't, but now they do. Oh, they do. Oh, because it's not adding up. It's not adding up. Oh, all right. At least they want you to meet their. They want to like there was that conversation that we had with Auntie B the other time. The struggle love thing, right? Women don't want struggle love. They just don't. Okay. It's not about being rich. It's about they don't want to go from $250,000 to dating somebody who makes $30,000 so that he can come around and say we need to live our lifestyle around my income. And then she's like, "What? No, I make $250,000," and then it becomes an argument. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? And that's what's going to happen, right? MOP, not everybody wants to reach free. Some are just want to be comfort. That's true. But I'm not sure the connection, but if you can enlighten me, beg, what I'm saying is that if somebody's making $50,000, let me bring it down a little bit. That's not rich. They don't want to date a guy who is making $25,000 as a manager at McDonald's. It's nothing against us. It has nothing to do with shaming his profession. It's just not a match, typically. Okay, she's not gonna drop it down because, quote unquote, most likely not. Okay, the internet is gonna tell her she has options. Okay, and then naturally, not a decision, not intentionally, women are apogamous. They want to date up. They want to look up. They want to be able to respect the person they're dating. This is not a decision. This is not an intentional thing. Oh yeah, but women are hypergamous, so they should just tone it down a little bit. It's not intentional. It's a subconscious thing. The closest you can get to making it intentional is a social construct. That's about it. Good to see you, Tima. So I just think what I see in this young lady, she's 39, she's asking, in my opinion, she was asking the right questions. Is she still delusional? Yeah, I could smell it a little bit there, but I think it's more delusional to expect somebody making $250,000 to date a bus driver, random willy-nilly, when you're asking them. They might actually fall in love with the bus driver if it's actually happening in real life. Yes, they might. Okay, if the guy knows how to make her feel safe and secure, it's absolutely possible. Right? But if a man go listen to this video and then he goes step up to her and say, "That's what's wrong with y'all ladies today," she's not gonna want you. I'm letting you know right now. Okay, it doesn't matter how much you preach. It doesn't matter how much you think it's just wrong for these ladies to not want to settle down with their $40,000 per year. It doesn't matter. That's not how it works. Okay, and it's not because of your money that she's not settling. It's because you're just off. You're weird. You're lame. You have no game. That's actually the main issue. Yeah, everything comes down to game. Exactly. Clap for yourself. You figured it out. Exactly. But yes, that was that really quickly. I've got a couple more. Would you date a bus driver? If I ask you right now on this live, I can guess your answer already. You will say yes. Why? Because already your guards are up. You think I'm tricking you. Think it's a trick question. Okay. But if I was a bus driver and I'm acting all entitled because I'm a bus driver, I make a living, I'm a good man, and I expect that should be enough that you should date me just because you are 39 years of age, how's that going to work out for you, right? If I bring that energy to you, okay, yeah, that's not going to work. The issue is the lack of game. The issue is no seduction. Shout out to Miss Iyanla. She does talk about seduction and attraction. But there's no seduction and attraction talk anymore. Everybody is acting entitled because they think they're a good person. That is a big problem in the dating world today. That's one of the major problems. The other problem that I always talk about is access to too much information. And that's tricky because who am I to tell you not to access all the information you can access, right? It's like weird. Like, that's supposed to be helpful. But, well, he's shooting everybody on the legs right now, okay? Because there's something they call paralysis by analysis or analysis by paralysis? Yes, precisely. It's going on in the dating world right now. Okay, but I just leave the conversation right there. I think we can continue again at another time. This is not going to end today. I'll be right back, Sha.